kids.
Just starts to put it all in perspective for Abby.
I know.
Her body figures it out before her head does.
What happened to us?
What happened to us, right? That's the most she's going to talk about, all these things that she's done.
Maybe we stop looking for the light.
Maybe.
The idea that, you know, even when we fail, we still have to push forward for something better. That's what Owen represents.
I'm gonna go check on the girl.
Okay.
Something so beautiful and sad here when we reveal the missing arm and this exchange of a smile between these two characters. Another time I'm going to sound like a broken record, but it's just, I love showing off your performances with no dialogue. It just makes our job easier as writers. Just leave out the writing.
That's the secret to good writing. Leave out the writing.
And finally, she has one good night of sleep.
Yeah, but consciousness is about to slap her in the face.
She's not going to come with you. I can convince her. We broke the rules, Mom. That's all you care about.
Owen?
Just me.
Oof.
Yeah.
Like that Mel doesn't even, you're not even worth my time to talk about it.
Changing Yara's bandages.
But then she snaps.
She's so powerless in this situation.
What are they fighting about?
Fuck you, Yara. I wouldn't leave you behind.
Oh, and this was a fun beat
doesn't
because he did just learn how to say fuck you.
Owen invited them to come to Santa Barbara. That is very Owen.
She's trying to be jokey and connect with Mel.
Talked him out of going by now. Hoping that she doesn't know.
Right.
Actually, I'm going with them. But not if you come.
Oof.
What? He may fall for your little act with these kids, but I don't. There's nothing to fall for. Isaac's top scar killer suddenly had a change of heart.
It's such an insult, right? But it's like, she probably deserves it. But the idea that she's only being nice to these kids to earn favor with Owen.
You're
Yeah.
a piece of shit, Abby.
You always have.
It's so sad that she doesn't fight back because she probably agrees with her.
Oh, fully. Fully.
Done with you.
Well, I think Mel is also calling into question, like, can characters change? Can people change? We see it with Joel, but it happens so rarely, right? And so many of our characters are myopically focused and can't change no matter what. So I understand why she feels like this must be bullshit.
No, but she finally feels like, oh God, I'm doing the right thing. I'm finally doing the right thing. Maybe I can be better. And then like this
Right.
Abby?
instant back to reality.
I like that showing emotion in this world is somehow a weakness.
Nice shirt.
We iterated a lot on what was on that shirt. We had,
Yes,
I just
I was
remember we
just
had all
thinking the same
these
thing.
all these different designs that were just too distracting, and finally we ended up with something pretty subtle.
How's your arm?
Because she'd need an aquarium shirt.
Why does that otter look so sad?
Otter lost its arm too.
Lev coming around?
He will.
I remember a conversation I had with Victoria here about
Do you mind helping me look?
Yara's motivation, how she's
Pretty worked
she feels like she needs to repay Abby in some way, and she's complimenting her, and she's pulling her in to like find Lev,
He ran off this way.
but more for Abby's sake than for actually finding Lev. Oh, this was a tough one to write.
Lev.
Oh, yeah.
How is he doing this? Hey, do you think maybe he could convince your mom?
If she saw him like this, she'd strangle him with her bare hands.
The conflict between love and duty, of like the love a mom should have for her kids and the duty she has for her religion.
I heard some of your people calling him Lily.
I like here that Yara is the practical one. She sees the world as it is, and she sees the consequences as they are. And in some way, in another universe, she and Abby would be wonderful enemies because they are both strong, myopic soldiers, right? But for Yara, the risk to Lev's life is worth giving everything up.
I told him he had to keep it to himself.
And the guilt, right? This guilt here.
I was hoping he'd snap.
No, it's that it's also Yara has greater love for Lev than their mom had for Lev. That this moment that she's describing here is what made her lose faith.
One of the men was suicide.
And we don't talk about it, but I think the difference that I see between Yara and Lev is that Yara has lost her faith, and Lev has just
I screamed at him.
refocused it, went back to the origins, to the writings, and sees how it was corrupted.
I'm so stupid.
This is another one of those scenes. I thought Victoria here just knocked it out of the park.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why don't we find something to cheer him up?
I like these in these action games, sometimes having a goal of like, oh, let's find a toy to cheer up a kid. And that becomes your gameplay objective.
What about this?
It's perfect. Mel's wrong.
Another brilliant thing Ashley Swadowski sort of conceived of is you watch the kids visually change and move away from scars over the course of this game. So here we see Yara is now dressed like a civilian, but she still wears the
I'm
braids.
sorry, I didn't realize you owned everything in the aquarium.
She's not fully
well,
letting go.
My aquarium, my stuff. I'm just kidding. Take whatever you want. You can't.
Have you seen Lev?
Yeah. He's down
Yeah,
the
we're
hall.
about to get into this conversation of, I mean, they're talking about their relationship, but thematically there's greater stuff here, which is, when are things too late? When have you gone so far that there's no coming back from it?
She couldn't tell I was joking.
They are very literal.
They're literal people.
I suck with kids.
It's funny he says he sucks with kids, but I think Owen would be a great dad.
Oh, I think he'd be an incredible dad.
Another world.
Coming to Santa Barbara, right?
I can't.
Why?
You know why.
He's such an optimist, right? They talk about that we'll figure it out. I don't know how, but we'll figure it out.
I know. I know it's a fucking mess. I know. But we can choose to be happy. Happy.
Again, going back to something you said earlier, Neil, but it's like this idea that suffering is the way that we honor the dead.
I don't think Abby has fully admitted, like, no, I don't have a right to be happy. There's no.
Yeah.
Lev! Get back here! Lev!
What's he doing?
He's going after her.
After who?
His mom.
She's gonna kill him, Abby.
Is the boat ready?
Not yet.
How much time do you need?
A few hours.
This is their last conversation together.
She just had surgery. I'm fine.
How else am I gonna find him?
I'll go with you.
Owen?
They're heading to the fucking island.
Exactly.
I'm not gonna let her go by herself.
I think there's a part of Abby that knows she's about to head into a suicide mission.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this is her forcing Owen to stay here.
She's really trying.
She's trying.
The irony is in staying here.
She
is
dooms
what-
them.
She
is what
abandons them, yeah.
Dooms him.
I don't know when it is in gameplay that you realize, like, oh God, I killed them all as Ellie. You know what I mean? What did I do?
Is that a sniper rifle?
Uh-oh.
Stay on the dock. I'll go get a boat and pick you up here.
No, I can help.
Not with this.
Girl, you have one arm.
She is so tough.
She's badass.
But yeah, Abby doesn't want any more blood on her hands. So just like with Owen, she wants Yara to stay behind.
Get down! Abby, what the fuck?
Manny.
You by yourself?
Yeah.
I like the dynamic between Abby and Manny.
This sniper's a fucking pro.
Just a couple of bros.
Doing out here?
A couple of bros.
We were supposed to hit the island tonight. Then this pendejo showed up.
Tommy's so
I sent the
cool.
guy to call for help.
It's so interesting how very few players guessed that this was Tommy right
Oh,
here.
really?
Yeah.
I need one of those boats. Now.
Just because it's been so long and you forget
forget,
about there's
yeah.
a whole other cast of characters that are on this island, and now
Let's do it.
these two stories are starting to merge.
Right, at first it feels coincidental, like, oh, she just happens on Manny. It's like, no, Manny was targeted. The revelation, it's Tommy.
What? No wonder he was so good.
I'm like, oh right, this whole other game that's happening finally collides. If you don't see a character die on screen, you should always question their death.
You all right?
That music is so ominous.
Yeah.
I like how she's just burying the death of her friend.
Yeah.
Just stay, again, she has this very narrow focused mind.
And the realization that it's all gonna come crashing down.
And the guilt, I would imagine, right? Like, the thing I would be burying in that moment is, oh, that's that guy? Oh, I'm complicit in the death of my friend.
There's another one of those that's, if you were to see the making of it, it'd be so funny because they're like, okay, and wave, and wave, and you'll have to act the physics of the boat, and then later the animators like touch it up.
In the earlier days of this game, there were 5 days that the girls were sort of doing their thing in Seattle.
And now we're on their territory.
There was a whole day where Ellie would go to Scar Island to give you this opportunity to see them in the same nurturing way that we would see the stadium, where you get to see them take care of their children and their seniors, and you get to see them farming, and you get to see them be human people. But we cut it because ultimately it didn't shift Ellie's journey. Oh, this scene.
This is a heavy scene. Unlike the rest of the game, which is just
A comedy.
that shift right there for Yara is really nice, of going from grieving to protecting,
Concern.
consoling. Yeah, that's right.
Talking to her.
Those cuts.
Trying to make her understand.
And she knew it was going to happen. She knew that's what the outcome was going to be.
She started chasing
Lev's an optimist.
trying to make her stop. It's just pushing her off of me. She hit the table.
With everything that baby Lev has been through in this past week, this is truly the death of his innocence.
Did nothing wrong.
Now these three have become the us. And the WLF is about to become the them. There's this little connective tissue right here of, or this moment of connection between Abby and Lev that I love, that she hands him the bow. Just the exchange, again, this exchange between them.
My baby. Baby.
Sweet baby. All she can do is arm him.
This way.
Got one!
Oh, this is,
This is the... Yeah. So right, originally you would come into this island, and this is where we would have killed Lev, and
Yeah.
we had these concepts of stone mound graves, and that you would find Lev being buried in one. But instead, we flippity-flopped it.
it's funny. It's like Abby stopping Lev from doing the thing she couldn't even do, is grieve for
Yeah.
the person she loves. And there's our second Isaac scene.
Oh, not a good look.
This was really fun watching you guys play, this back and forth. It's like every other time you've been able to reason with Isaac, but
He saved my life.
he's at the end of his rope.
By the way, we'll deal with you back home.
He's not one of them, please.
Abby, move.
God damn it, he's just a kid.
Isaac doesn't see a kid, you know?
You have 3 seconds to get away from that scar. 1,
You really gonna shoot me?
2.
I'm not fucking moving.
That facial expression was great.
And Jeffrey Wright gave us a lot of deaths, a lot of falling in all these different ways. I remember that. This was another one of those where we wanted to make the volume feel bigger and run with the characters. And then we had a hard time, I don't know how much you remember, Laura, of like getting this beat to land right here, this exchange between the two characters, until we
Come on.
somehow, I don't remember the exact
Hey, you're my
order of events, but we came up with this line right here. You're my people.
Yeah, we were on the stage and it just wasn't quite working. And you came to me and you said, let's come up with let's brainstorm some other lines. And I said, you're my people. And you're like, okay, that's it. And you just walk back on set. And it really, it's become my favorite line in the game because it is, to me, it is the unifying idea.
This one here is actually one of my favorite scenes in this game.
I agree. This one's really great.
It's just the visuals, the
tragedy.
exchange, how far we've come. Just the idea that he's cold, the weather.
She's so Joel here. She's just such a dad here.
This is, again,
Yeah.
this is one of those things that's very easy to write on the page. She takes her jacket off, she wraps it around Lev. Very hard to execute and
Oh,
make it look
God.
good. Look how she's looking at him.
Well, it's like now she's looking at a small version of herself, right? She
Yeah.
knows what it is to see your parent dead, to see your world burn, and now she's just got to helplessly watch another person do it.
This is, again, where the two stories are barreling into each other. And we have a series of losses. I mean, there's this nice dramatic irony. The player already knows what's waiting for Abby inside, and they're like, oh my God, oh my God,
Yeah.
oh my God. And they're waiting to see how this
If they
plays out.
remember, a lot of people forget.
No,
But
really?
as soon as they see Alice,
Oh yeah, Alice is the
that's the
trigger.
giveaway. What can you say to someone that just lost his mom and his sister at the same moment?
Alice is the only dog that actually has to die in the game, which was a fun thing during press when people would be like, why do you want us to kill dogs? And it's like, you don't actually have to in any of the setups. They're all voluntary kills, but Alice is the only requisite one.
I'm pretty sure we're always careful to say you don't have to kill dogs, but we didn't say you don't have to kill a dog.
Dog. The cutest dog that you play fetch with.
Be careful.
This is, Laura, you make this look very easy, but this is a very hard scene, I think, watching from the outside to act, which is you have to go from grief to pure rage. I think, Hallie, this was your throwing up that you wrote into this scene.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
probably.
It's such a great visual of how much grief somebody can take before your body just rebels against it.
Yeah.
This little, the way he says Abby here. Almost afraid to show her this might lead to the people that did this. And of course, this was Ellie's mistake of dropping the map here in her panic attack. And and the music is doing a good job of just taking you internally into Abby's head. Now she's regressing back to the vengeful spirit she was before. Our main characters collide, or about to collide.
I think one of the things that makes Laura's performance here so special is that this character is so hard and so terrifying, but in every scene where Laura is scary, there's also this patina of vulnerability, of fragility that's coming through, where you can feel that she's quaking with rage, but there's so much complex stuff happening underneath that rage. It's really great. You're not bad.
It's funny because it's the same way I feel about Ashley's performance. So there's always this.
Just that rage feels so real.
She's so good too. Like fucking one shot.
And again, from her perspective, it's Jesse's an NPC.
Yeah.
He means nothing to her.
Stand up! Now!
Don't you fucking dare!
Shut the fuck up! All right, stop! Stop!
What is so beautiful here or tragic is that Ellie doesn't get it. Right? What Ellie's about to say here is like,
I know why you killed Joel. He did what he did.
well, he did it to save me. There's no cure because of me.
And Abby's like, what?
Not
It's
about that. I don't know how much Abby cares about it. It's about her
Yeah.
dad.
You killed my friends.
Like, I showed you mercy.
And you wasted it.
And players were so uncomfortable here. Like, I have to go up against Ellie now. And this is very much by design.
Who is scary.
She's wily, but you're beefy.
Stay here. Watch the exits. Don't let her leave.
If I remember correctly, Ashley, we had you like have water in your mouth when you delivered some of the lines here, because your mouth is meant to be filled with blood.
Yes. Wow. Okay, because I remember I was, as my usual, I was like, why am I just laying here? I would try everything I could to try to get up and go save her. So I think the water and having that and having sort of showing or being able to hear how messed up Ellie is in that moment. This is the other scene that lives in my head. The knife to a pregnant girl's throat. It's so terrible, but in her mind, like, Ellie just intentionally killed her pregnant friend, and Mel is so visibly pregnant. And the fact that Abby does not kill them shows that she's kind of in a little bit of a better mental place, I think, than Ellie is.
Yeah,
Well,
she's
she's
grown
also
a
got
little
her
bit.
moral compass, like, yes, right in front of her.
Yeah.
Well, there's like
Yeah.
two versions of love right in front of her. One is
Yeah.
the destructive one of like wanting to do justice by the people that I've lost, and the other one is wanting to do right by this kid that I've come to be their protector. And she
Who's already
chooses.
seen too much violence, who's already experienced too much wrath, right? It's like, he needs peace.
Ellie? Hey,
That poor baby.
That poor baby.
Yeah.
We had a lot of conversations here about Ellie's thought process, the things she's not expressing, but she put the baby's life at risk right now, right? It's like, who knows what, and when she's in this fog of PTSD, what she could have done.
This is the moment for Ellie where she's,
It's never going to get better.
it's not going to get better, and she's put her family in danger. So it's probably better to just go.
Well, Dina is also trying to sweep it under the rug, and this is what's going to happen in the next. He was like, let's just go back to bed. Everything's fine. If I could buy another week, maybe she'll get a little bit better.
Or even just the distance to speak. It's just like when somebody's really in the thick of like the panic and the fog of grief like that, it's like you do kind of need time
Yeah.
in order for them to kind of continue to progress through the stages. But it's like Ellie is refusing to move
Yeah.
through these stages. And so like I feel like when we were doing this, like the patience that I have with it was that it's like maybe she'll move to the next stage soon. Maybe we're getting there. Maybe that's what we're getting to.
I don't know if we ever talked about this, but we had a whole different version of this part of the game where it was Maria that showed up.
Yeah, but we felt it would be more intimate if it were seeing how broken Tommy was.
Well, it should be like feel more the guilt of like seeing the damage on Tommy and having Tommy been changed over this year since he got back to Jackson, of like the guy that wanted to protect Ellie and not go on this quest for revenge is now guilting her into it.
I like that you're coming in late and you're seeing this man has been very broken, and we're getting a sliver of how the abuse he experienced and the things that he did in Seattle have irreparably damaged him. And he's standing right in front of Ellie, and Ellie is looking at how irreparably damaged this man is, and she's like, yep, let's do that to me too. I'm willing to see the ghost of my future. That's the fate I deserve.
Sorry.
Nah. We talked about it a lot, and yeah, it's what we both want, so.
Well, the other thing we were talking about is the other big Ellie Tommy scene is after Joel's death and how they can't look at each other. And then this happens again here. Once he asks her to go, she can't look at him.
I think it's a confrontation thing, or when I'm feeling anger, I get uncomfortable, like I don't want somebody to see it.
It's also the shame, right? Of the shame of
Yeah.
I'm letting you down. I'm letting Joel down. I'm letting myself down.
Yeah.
Described her as built like an ox. traveling with a kid with scars across his face. He said they're living.
I also think that there's something important in this scene for Dina, right? Because Dina has been such an amenable partner through so much of this game and their journey, and even when Ellie's off the deep end, Dina is a nurturing force. And here she's finally drawing the line.
We're done with that, so.
She's finally like, we're done with that. I'm speaking for Ellie now.
There's a line here, and you've crossed it.
And like the rage I felt too when he keeps going, I was like, it's
love it.
insidious. You know, it's like he came and brought the virus back into the house and now she's sick again.
Think of all the guilt he's carrying. He failed to save Joel. He failed to save Jesse. He failed to get Abby. He's fucked up. His marriage has fallen apart. All he has left now is this revenge. That's it.
Well, it also
Yeah.
it goes back again to that ego thing where it's like, you asked me to do this and I did it. I went to Seattle. Now I'm coming back for you to pay up, and you're going to be a little bitch about it?
Well,
Yeah.
and again, he's too blind to see the suffering that she's going
Yeah.
through. All he could see is like
She looks great.
how damaged he is. But what he say like, oh, you live out here and you got your family and everything's cushy and everything's fine, and I'm the one suffering. But he doesn't see that he's not the only one
Yeah.
suffering.
What a joke.
And I love that Jeffrey, when Dina walks over and Ellie's sitting there at the table, and Jeffrey is not even acknowledging Dina.
In a way, Tommy might feel like I'm more family to you than Dina is.
Yeah, yeah,
I've known you
yeah.
longer. Like
That's exactly
think
what
of
it
everything
felt,
that
yeah.
we've been through, and it's the only time there's really personal conflict between Ellie and Tommy.
That's one of my favorite Dina moments.
Yeah.
Because it felt so real.
I was so mad.
Yeah. Just like flying out the screen door and being like, listen, motherfucker, get off of our property. I love it.
So this was one of the first things we shot for this game.
Yep.
There's so many characters here. We had to shoot this in multiple batches and then stitch it all together.
I did several days just dancing.
Yes.
Yeah, remember we brought a dance choreographer that spent some time with you, Shannon.
Yeah.
This was the demo, and so we had to. This was tricky because we're introducing to the world a lot of new characters with a lot of interesting dynamics, and trying to do that
Tell me about
through exposition, but as thin an exposition as possible because, dear God, nobody likes exposition. It was hard.
What happened?
This scene has jumped around all over as we're playing with the structure. It used to be in the very beginning, and then we felt we just had too many cutscenes in the beginning. We needed to get to the action a little bit faster, and then we moved it to the end. We changed the writing for the beginning.
She's putting on quite the show.
But there's something kind of nice,
I give you guys 2 weeks.
and I guess there's a tragedy to it of coming here at the end as a memory. Of just seeing Jesse's alive and Ellie and Dina are okay and no one's, and there's Joel.
Hey! What took you so long?
Oh, I'm here.
And this really innocent first kiss.
Hey, don't forget, we're heading out early, so get some rest.
Yes, sir. You're such a dick. Come on. This was the first scene we shot. This was the first scene we shot after you hired me.
Yeah.
How bad do I smell?
I look at this and I'm just overwhelmed with all the details of the shirt, of sweat stains, of little hairs on the neck, little dimples on the smile. And this is hundreds of people of work for months to get this little moment. Sweat. and trying to capture it.
The hair that I put behind her ear is crazy.
Yeah. And that has to switch from being physics hair to being hand animated hair
It's
as soon as
crazy.
you make contact with it.
I'm not.
And even just the kissing, like, I mean, it's just, it looks so realistic.
Yeah, and it's actually a
does.
combination of several performances all stitched together right here. And then the lighting has to change from shot to shot. It's interesting highlighting the bracelet that's back on Dina's hand. It's a nice
just
nice
love it.
reflective moment of like how innocent things were for all these characters.
Yeah.
I love just the little surprise on Ellie's face, the little like moment of shock before melting into it.
And then we're about to get into Seth. And again, Shannon, your rage is so real here.
Hey, it's a family event.
Fuck are you looking at?
This whole interaction was based on one time I was at Blockbuster and I'm just talking to my friend, I'm throwing curse words around, and the dad in front of me had his two kids, and he's like, "Do you mind? There's kids around." And that always stuck with me. I felt such shame having like used curse words in front of these kids.
What did you just say?
Ellie, Ellie, don't.
Get the hell out of here.
Get your hands off me.
Hey! Enough. Come on, you. Let's go for a walk.
What about them?
You worry about yourself.
I feel so bad for Joel here.
Ugh, me too.
What is wrong with you?
She doesn't want to be under his shadow anymore.
No.
But he can't help himself.
He's just trying to. He's trying
Someone
to dad.
someone is hurting her, and he's going to stand up for her.
Oh, Papa Bear. Yeah, you know you were an asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah. Saddest scene.
Yeah, with the first game, right, we're talking about how do you take this obsession of love, of a parent's love for a child, to the end of the line. And then this has the reverse of it, of like, how do you take hate to the end of the line, which is also like another expression of love. And the engineering of it was that here she has this family that loves her, and it's not good enough because she's letting down Joel in her mind.
I love the different energies that you both bring to this scene where Dina is giving it her everything in this fight, and Ellie just has to shut down.
This scene, my God.
I have to finish it.
I was so hard to leave you because you were so upset and so broken and so sad. And I was like, I should, my mistake. I'm sorry.
I would argue this is maybe Ellie's darkest moment, even though I know where we're going, because this is the choice where she forsakes.
This is where she makes the choice.
Yeah. And I think she knows there's a very good chance she's going to die on this journey.
I guess the thing that we don't talk about is like, I think she's suicidal.
Yeah, I
think
agree.
there's the guilt of what
The
should have
pain is
happened
too
at the
loud.
hospital.
That's why she
Yeah.
leaves in the middle of the night. She's not saying goodbye because it's clearly suicide.
Yeah. When the pain gets too loud, she's not there anymore. She's incredibly vulnerable, but she's completely disassociated, and there is this absolute rejection of everything that is right.
I'm just supposed to sit here and wait for you.
At that point, like, you know, you're not talking to the person that you're in the relationship with. You're talking to the grief. And so it's like the convincing comes into like, are you even in there anymore? Like, can I just find you for 1 second? And she's just fully gone.
Both characters have very clear goals, and then there's an obstacle, and then they keep ratcheting out. Like Dina just ups the ante over and over and over until the last bit is ultimatum.
Even the grabbing of the face.
And then
like
she pulls
it's-
her hands down. And that's it, she knows. Philosophically, with this game, what we wanted to do was allow our characters to make immoral choices that the audience would not be on board with. up until now, like, we shed some of the audience of, like, the Nora torture. Some people have issues with that, or certain other kind of violent moments. But here we lose almost everybody. And it is by design in that way of, like, you're now, like, playing this thing that you are not on board with at all. You have to keep going. And in a way that does align you with Ellie. These shots are so gorgeous. There's a nice misdirect coming up here. We purposely gave Lev chucks. So you're thinking for a second that, oh, okay, this is where I pick up Ellie's journey. And again, now you've been a while away from Abby and Lev. And now Lev has fully shed his seraphite exterior. Has hair.
I love to see their growth, their relationship in this moment.
Okay, Constance.
In letting go of hate, Abby has taken on Owen's optimism, Owen's hope.
Straight a week ago.
This thing that was just this flame that was almost completely extinguished within her. Somehow in all that tragedy and all that horror, she was able to find it again.
Fireflies over here.
Her face seems brighter, it seems lighter than it has been the entire game,
Come on.
even in the flashbacks.
Is this frequency currently in use? This is
so small, but I love
What?
the hope. Again, it's just like she has a bit of hope here, and then it's cranked up to 10 when she hears the fireflies on the other side of this radio.
Can anyone hear me?
And isn't the firefly on the other side of this radio another Vox Machina hero?
Is it really?
Yeah,
Who is it?
Liam O'Brien.
Is it?
Yeah.
He was my fellow nurse, wasn't he? In the
He
the
was.
scene? Yeah, we
your
were with the
fellow
two nurses.
nurse in Last of Us 1.
Is this frequency currently in use? This is Abby from Santa Barbara. Is anyone out there?
There's a nice reaction here that Lev has to Abby's, again, singular obsession of now finding the fireflies. And he's ready to give up.
Can anyone hear me? Hello?
And she keeps going in desperation.
I love artistically how the character models for Lev and Yara were kind of a blend of both of the actors' faces, because now I'm like looking at baby Lev, but I feel like you can see some spirit of Yara still.
Is this frequency currently in use? Hello, this is Abby from Santa Barbara. Can anyone hear me? If anyone can hear me, please reply. Please answer.
Don't give up.
Like that, this was perfectly shot, like we're pulling away from her, that this is how the scene's going to end.
24, 25 Constance. We got a tip
I
about
don't
a
know
base,
why
but there's no...
I get weirdly emotional in this
Looking
scene.
for fireflies. I'm a firefly.
Maybe just seeing how happy she is.
Where were you stationed?
I was part of the Salt Lake outpost.
Like that little head shake.
God, I'm so awkward.
I mean, I guess I'm a firefly. I kind of disavowed them, but
Dr. Jerry
that is who I
Anderson.
truly am.
He was my dad.
Well, how about that? We pulled everyone back
Like
to the satellite
Liam's
stations. and-
acting right here, like in the reply. How about
many of
that?
you are there?
Like, holy shit.
We're about 200 strong now, with a few more every month.
Owen was right. You're about to get 2 more. How do we find you?
It's,
Oh God, yeah, that's there it is.
Approach the large domed building in Avalon. We'll find you.
Okay.
look at
okay.
like the way
We'll
Lev
see you
looks
soon.
at her. He's
Yeah.
happy for her.
Looking forward to it. Good luck, Abby from Santa Barbara.
Well, it's also like
Over and out.
there's a possibility of community here again.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure everything's going to turn out fine for these two.
But it needs to, Neil.
Here they get ambushed by a new group, the Rattlers.
The Rattlers are the worst people we've encountered in the game for both practical reasons, which were we want you to get to see Ellie at her most vicious, most violent. We want her kills to feel brutal and justified. And we want to feel like Abby and Lev, were they not saved, would have died.
There's also, with this group, wanting to make them really awful, to play a little bit with tropes and structure and misdirect the player, that in a lot of these stories, you have these two characters that you're rooting for against each other, and then there's a really evil force, and you see them team up, and they're going to work together to defeat the bad guys. And that's not how this plays out at all. That always felt a little too cliche, and I don't know if it really spoke to the themes of what we're trying to say here. But we wanted the player to think that's what's going to happen. It's a nice economy here of storytelling. Like, we don't show Abby arriving at Santa Barbara with this boat that has become a character of its own in the story. And we're just here with Ellie picking up the tail end of their journey. There's also like a really interesting note here from Abby. And it's also the first time we're seeing just how emaciated Ellie has become. And she's sunburned and clearly not taking care of herself in the pursuit of Abby.
I mean, it mirrors it can't all be for nothing, because she's killed so many people at this point. If she stops, that all is just for nothing.
I really like that, the parallel of the first game of her wanting to see things all the way through with her stubbornness, even though there's a part of her that says this is not the right thing to do.